Congratulations, college graduates of 2020. This is kind of a virtual commencement address. A lot of you probably were thinking about graduating from college, going through commencement, sweating while hungover under those heavy caps and gowns. I experienced that once myself at DePauw University. I'm Mark Small. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives in Indiana's 5th Congressional District, the June 2nd primary, as a Republican. And I'm going to tell you something or some things that are different from what most commencement speakers say. They seem always to say, follow your dreams, don't give up your dreams. We can't afford dreams, not anymore. That's a luxury. You have to go into the real world as soon as possible because we need your help. Another thing they say is, stick by your guns, don't be afraid to take a chance on things. We have to take chances. We don't have any choice. And think about the things that you've learned as an undergraduate student. Think about science, history, how to think, how to relate to others. Those are all qualities that we're sorely lacking today. We're facing the greatest crisis this country has faced since the 1860s, since people were freed from slavery but then had to face decades of oppression following slavery, a period of time when people weren't free. A lot of people couldn't vote. We were killing people either intentionally or negligently, and we were getting into wars all over the place. A few years ago, somebody ran for political office saying, "Make America great again." When were we great? We couldn't have been great all the way through the end of the Civil War. The Constitution not only allowed slavery to exist, it protected it. And in the decades following the Civil War, we didn't have civil rights protected for those people who had been slaves or their descendants. And women couldn't vote. And if your peoples had lived on the land for centuries, didn't matter. Our cavalry was coming through, and we were going to move you off, or you were going to die. We couldn't be great. Women gained the vote in 1920. Still, people were discriminated against. Couldn't use the same drinking fountains in some places. At the end of World War II, we still couldn't be great. We might have had the biggest military in the world. But who cares if our own people aren't free and if our own people aren't treated equally? We began to see greatness, just catch a glimpse of it, in 1954 when Brown versus Board of Education was handed down by a unanimous Supreme Court, headed by a Chief Justice nominated by a Republican president. The whole civil rights movement is something that the Republican Party had always worked for as an abolitionist party. The Republican Party in 1854 was founded in Ripon, Wisconsin. It advocated economic rights for people. In the 1890s, the Republican Party was led by people who wanted to shut down large monopolies, corporations that were just taking people, their lives and their money and anything that they could get. The Republican Party fought against that. The Republican Party also fought for greater infrastructure and didn't want to go overseas unnecessarily to focus on our problems here at home. Those were all Republican values. We got to the 1960s, and that's when some people think we were losing our greatness. We began to question why people didn't have civil rights now. Probably it was the first time people really took a stand on the environment because we didn't want to cough anymore when we breathed in the air or maybe get sick from drinking water that would catch on fire in the river that fed what we drank from our city's municipal plants. And we began to really question about the peoples who'd been here when Europeans arrived and mistakenly called them Indians when they'd never been to India at that point. And maybe the biggest thing that we did was question whether our military should be someplace else, bombing people for no reason and no realistic means or odds or chance of winning a military victory. That's what the Pentagon Papers were about. Our leaders knew when we first got involved in Vietnam that that was a conflict we couldn't win. Barry Goldwater in 1964 at the Republican National Convention said of Vietnam, "If we've sent people there to win, we've sent too few. And if we've sent them there to lose, we've sent too many." And now, we have someone who's wanting to make America great again by what? Going to the time before Brown versus Board of Education? Going to a time when if you were male and you were white and you owned land, that's all that mattered. That's not greatness. Greatness is a country whose citizens can stand up and question its leadership and say, no, we're not going to do that. And that's what we have to do. And that's what you have to do as graduates. Abandon any notion of fond dreams and maybe getting in a .com if they even have those anymore. Look at what's happening around you. Help your fellow human beings. Do those things that can help others, and certainly you want to help yourself. But you can't do it if you don't realize this is a community effort, an entire community of the world. I'm running as a candidate for the Republican Party in Indiana's 5th Congressional District. I'm doing this because not I'm interested in the Republican Party or I'm interested in just some kind of limited notion of what we can do. I'm interested in our trying to save the world because right now we're on the verge of losing so many things and we need so much help. And you're part of that help. You're graduating and starting tomorrow. Take the afternoon off today, but tomorrow we all need your help and we need to help each other. I'm Mark Small. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives in Indiana's 5th Congressional District, the June 2nd primary. I need your help. If you live in the 5th Congressional District, I need your vote too. Thank you.